This meeting won't last terribly long, and I'm going to try to stay in this general vicinity just because it's recording for the parents and people who could not come tonight. I don't require this parent meeting anymore. I used to, simply because we have a lot of repeats. We have new members, obviously with sixth graders, but a lot of them already have brothers or sisters who come through here, or you like to just watch the video from home. So I figure if you want to come and get the information, that's what we do the parent meeting for. I know some of you are just as tired as I am coming in tonight because you've been at work and then you were at homecoming, and I even had to go home and shower because you did not want to be around me after that race. It felt like a race that I was dying at the end at. It was for young people, not us old folk. So I'm going to kind of go through the handbook. I was going to go get copies of it out of my room so y'all can kind of go through it with me. And they're waxing the floor in front of my room, so I couldn't get in. So I have it on my phone. So when you see me looking at my phone, I promise I'm not texting while talking. I'm going through this with y'all. So one of the biggest things, and I'm going to apologize now, and the parents who've been with me for a while already know this, I'm going to email you and communicate with you to the point where you're going to want to just erase my emails the minute they come in. I am an over-communicator, and a large part of what happens is I send out an email with all this information thinking, yes, I've covered everything, and then not 2 minutes later I get an email, well, what about this? And it's like, dang it, I forgot that. So then I send another email, and then another parent says, well, okay, now I'm confused about this. So then I send another email, and by the time it's done, it's like, oh my God, stop emailing me. And then I'll send another one out, and there's a lot of information that comes out because we do a whole lot. When I became the sponsor, this is now my third full year doing this, student council at that point was just representatives from different classes. It was just kind of a choice thing. They did some stuff, but they didn't do a lot. And when I came in, I said I wanted to change some things, and I really wanted to get back to our community because I feel like Midlothian does a lot for our kids. And I think kids need to give back to our community. I think it's a really big deal. And this particular student council thus far has been recognized both nationally and on the state level for all of the work they do. And this particular year, we're going for something called sweepstakes, which is the biggest award you can get in Texas, where you hit all 5 different portions. And we're working with our new principal to make that happen. So it's really cool. We've won the award for 2 years nationally, the gold level, which is the highest level you can get in the nation for a student council. So it's cool. You're in a good place. So what does that mean for your kid, though? So when it talks about Remind, can I just tell you that Remind will be your very best friend and will save you from having to text or email me 100 times. Not that I mind your emails, they're texts. Please don't take it that way. But Remind has all the information, and you can scroll back to every single time I've sent a message out without having to go search through emails. Remind is amazing. I'm going to put this for the people watching the video. The actual code is @ K is in King, A is in Apple, B is in Boy, A is in Apple, F is in Frank. And you text that to number 81010. It's 81010. And I'll send that out through an email. It was supposed to be included in the handbook, and when we redid the handbook this year, the wrong one got printed, and so that's why the code was left off. So you're like, well, why didn't you just put that in the handbook? We did, and then we printed the wrong one. So I'll send that back out, but here's what happens with emails on Gmail. So I have sent you already 5 emails, and a lot of you are probably like, I haven't gotten 5 emails. That's because Gmail, when I send blind carbon copies to a large group of people, it thinks I'm spamming you. So your email puts them in your trash or your spam, or it kicks it back to me as undeliverable, which I have 59 of them as of today, which is why I sent out a list last night. I put it on Facebook and I put it on Remind, a link to my emails. So here's your kid's name, here's their email. And so I've asked everybody to go check that link to make sure our email we show for you is correct. And if it's not, you can correct it. It's an editable spreadsheet. So it's super simple. You can go in and change it. So if you're not getting emails, it's likely because we have entered it in incorrectly. It's operator error on our part, but when we go to enter them in, we just do our best to try to make sure we're reading what you wrote. Thank you. So that's Remind and emails. And the other thing is Facebook. There is a Student Council Facebook and there's a Student Council Instagram, and those are both in the handbook. It tells you how to get there. There's also an app for your phone, so if you just want to put it on your phone so you can go to every single thing that we have for Student Council, it's right there as an app. It's free on your phone. Created that last year. All right. Meetings are new this year because our schedule changed here. So instead of having Cub Academy once, we have Cub Academy twice, which means one of the Cub Academies happens while I'm actually having a class, which means I can no longer leave for Cub Academy to do meetings. So we were asked to do before school and after school meetings. So the meetings currently are scheduled for Tuesdays. They won't be every Tuesday by any means, which is why I say be on Remind, because we'll send out a thing. If you walk down our hallways, you'll see that they are paper littered. Every single time we have a meeting, we post them up everywhere. We put them in the hallways, the bathrooms, the stalls, the water fountains. There are lockers everywhere that they could possibly see to make sure they don't miss the meeting. Then we put it on Remind, and we put it on Instagram, we put it on Twitter, we put it on Facebook, and I email it to you. So there's about 6 different option routes that try to get that information out to you every time. Tomorrow is the first official Student Council meeting for students. It is tomorrow morning from 7:50 till 8:15. And it's going to be in the library. Mrs. Sheffield has agreed to let us have our meetings in there. And then there is an after school, which is 4 to 4:25. They do not attend both, they pick one. So if your kiddo has athletics in the morning, they can come in the afternoon. If they have stuff in the afternoon, they can come in the morning. If they can't come to either one of those, and that happens, they can come the next day, the following day, to Cub Academy. And we have what's called a governing board. And that's a group of students who meet during that time with anyone who's missed and go over everything they missed the day before. And we catch them up. That way they're not considered as missed a meeting, because you're technically only allowed to miss 2 meetings before we call you in to start talking about you not maybe being in student council. That does not count being sick, being out for doctor's visits. Those don't count. If you're out for those. Just let me know. Just email us. Not a big deal. We would rather you be away if you're sick. Okay. I try not to talk in a monotone voice because then you stop listening. All right. Service learning. All right. This is the #1 question I get. I was about to leave my computer. I got to stay still. So everyone thinks that they're hours. We don't go by hours. So service learning events are where you take your kid somewhere to volunteer, however long, and then they take a picture as proof that they were there, and then they come back and let us know about it. Now there's a way, we'll talk about how they let us know in a minute. But it's nothing that I set up. I didn't do that. It's all individual. Now, I email opportunities all the time because there's people in our community that come in and say, hey, can you send me 12 kids? I just posted one last night. How many of y'all saw the bracelet one last night? Good. So I posted an opportunity last night. They come all the time. Miracle League's about to start next week, which means there's a ton of opportunities about to hit. But all it is where your kiddo goes out and volunteers and gives back to the community. They do that 4 different times throughout the whole year. They have the whole year to get it done. I don't suggest waiting till the end of the year because the opportunities start to dry up as we get to the end. Our community is really good about reaching out and asking for help. We work with the Miracle League at DFW, which is actually in Arlington, which is a little bit of a trek, but it's a special needs baseball team. My son happens to play for it. It's how we got out there to begin with, but it's a group of kids who otherwise would not even be able to understand what baseball is. It's this great, amazing program, and the kids go out and they're buddies for them. They help them bat, they help them run the bases, they kind of keep them busy during the games. It's a really cool experience if they get to go. And that each game counts as an event, and you need 4 by the time you're done. It used to be you had to get a paper signed, and then you turn the paper in. We've gone completely paperless this year. Yes. So this is the greatest thing I'll tell you. stucoservice@gmail.com. It's stuco, S-T-U-C-O, service@gmail.com. And that actually is in the handbook. And I'll put the handbook online too, but that is how you get your service learning in now. So you email and you say, Allison Hargrove, event 1. And then you send it. You don't write anything else. And then it's an automatic reply. that sends you a link to a form, and then on the form you put your kiddo's name, their grade level, what they did, what date they did it, and you put the picture and you hit send. And it puts it in a spreadsheet with everything else they've done for the year. So nobody's losing their papers, nobody's losing track of what they did. Once you enter it, it's done. It's so simple. You don't have to worry about keeping up with the paper to and from, having to get pre-approval, any of that, it's gone. I would think that would make y'all very happy. If you knew how much of a pain it was last year, you'd be like, yes. Okay, well, I said yes. Okay, does anybody have questions on that part? Yes, good. Oh, yes. The summer stuff was already done, so you just go ahead. You can keep the form, but go ahead and just enter it into the Gmail. That way we can just keep it in one spot. A lot of you guys did summer stuff already because I never usually do that, but we usually have so many people. Last year we had 335 kids. This year we're over that. I didn't think we were going to go over that because we kind of started small. And all of a sudden, the last day, we probably took in a little over 100 membership applications on the final day. I don't have the exact number, I will soon. We have a lot. And so this year, one of the things that started last year, so if you weren't here last year, we have what's called a board. The kiddos in the tie-dye shirts, they're our board kids, and those are 7th and 8th graders who were on student council the year before, who showed a great deal of leadership and just initiative, and they were seen going above and beyond throughout the year, and so we yanked them and asked them if they want to do it, and some of them just volunteered to do it. It's just kind of hit or miss as to who tried to get in and then who was asked to come in, but they run a lot of it. They take a lot off my plate and do a ton of work, which is how this works with as many kids as we have. So 4 services. That does not include, and this is where it gets confusing, we do the dance, we do Veterans Day, we do the ringing of the bells, we do the Macy's letters to Santa. Those are 4 events that we do as an entire student council that do not count as those. Does that make sense? So your events are things you do on your own. Those are events that we do as an entire student council, which I'll get to in just a minute. Okay, I'm gonna skip the governing board. If kiddos get in trouble, they're like, oh my gosh, am I kicked off student council? No. We'll meet with you and just try to make sure, they're kiddos, just to make sure if they need a friend, if they need help with the class, if there's somebody bothering them, giving them trouble, that's what the governing board is to help. Because this middle school's hard, we know. All right, let's get through this. Parade, the Halloween dance. By the time the Halloween dance is over, you're going to ask why you let your kid join student council. And I wish I was kidding. The Halloween dance got moved up this year because the way it was falling, the dance should have happened on Pink Out weekend. We can't do that. So then it was going to be the Friday after, which means Halloween would have been on Wednesday, and then the dance would have been after that. And that's, I'm going to tell you this, please don't roll your eyes at me. That's NASCAR weekend. Which my son, who's severely autistic, spoke his first words at a NASCAR practice when he was 4 after having not spoken his whole life. So that has a lot of sentimental value to us, and it's a place where we go and we don't miss it ever. Like it's a family thing between he and I that we don't miss. So I couldn't be here that weekend, not to make y'all be like, oh. So October 19th, that's the day. That's the big day, okay? To kind of give you an idea of how our dances go, last year we made $8,000 in 2 hours. Our dance is fast, furious, and it's huge. Last year we had over 1,100 kids show up at the door ready to go. We run out of tickets. We run out of everything. As much as we plan for it, we still get killed. And Ms. Juan's back there going, yep. And we plan. I mean, I'm a planner like crazy, and we had it down. We just knew we had it down for the next year, and we got bigger. So to kind of explain how the dance goes. So you walk in, and we have karaoke. We have a door prize. We have 2 open gyms, dodgeball, basketball, volleyball. There we go. And then we have what are called canopies. Y'all know like when you go to like soccer games or you go to outside sporting events, those canopies? Okay. So I'm going to ask everybody to bring a canopy that evening. We need about 20 because we line the canopies, actually, from here all the way around. We have face painting, we have carnival games, which is where I'm going to ask for help too. And then we have a family who, thank goodness for them, they do a haunted hallway that starts there and wraps all the way around. And we scare the bejeezers out of children for fun and for tickets. And so then we have our DJ, we have a costume contest, it is a costume dance, and we just have a blast. It's a huge, huge event, and so everything costs tickets. We have the concession stand, we have everything. Everything that they could possibly match. It's like a carnival with a dance and an open gym and a haunted hallway. It's like everything combined. And it's only the 2 hours, it's really fast, but that money that we make there, we end up turning around and going to Bell Ring for the Salvation Army. And we use it for we bought hoodies last year, so they'll either get another hoodie or they'll get a long sleeve shirt with money raised from the dance. Everything we raise, I spend on the kids before the year's over, just so you know. It's not like, oh, we raise money and we go have fun with it. The kids get it right back. So we do the buses, we do everything to go with the Salvation Army. And last year they had one of their worst years, donation-wise. And the day that we went, we're only there for like 3 hours, but we raised more in that 3 hours. People gave more in that 3 hours that day than they did the entire month of December for the Salvation Army. And he tells us every year, please come back, please, please, please come back. Your kids do an amazing thing. So as long as I'm here, I want us to go. And Mr. Vernon has already said that we can continue that. So our dance helps cover that. And then we get, like I said, we usually get a hoodie or a long sleeve because it's freezing that day. It doesn't matter when I plan it, it's freezing that day. It has happened every year. Poor kids, they were just bone cold last time. We go out to eat or we have a big meal here, a fellowship afterwards. And then we do the party. They have an end of year party, a banquet where we do awards with the money too. So, and then we do the scholarships for the 3 seniors, sometimes 4. Depending on how much money we have left at the end for the MHS seniors with the money. So just so you know why we do the dance. Because the dance is fun. So the dance, your student is going to be required to sign up for something for the dance. It's either going to be a candy, a drink, or a food. Those are required items. So you are required to sign up for something. Just that sign up goes out. And guys, I'll tell you right now, the minute I send the sign up out, in about 10 minutes, if that, a large majority of it's full because we have amazing parents who are just like, and it's done. Then I'm going to send out another sign up, not a remind, for optional stuff for you to bring the canopies and carnival games. So you know, like, I don't want to call it, it's like, we made one with poster board with plastic cups and ping pong balls and set it on a table so they could have to bounce it and try to get it in. That's carnival game. Yes, I see you laughing. You understand. It's just a cup game. Another person brought a toilet last year. It was so amazing. She has this toilet and you had to like throw the toilet paper to get inside of it. It was just an old commode. Somebody else brought an old skeleton that they had and we just threw rings at it. Like just handmade, crafty games that we can throw in underneath a canopy. We do carnival games. We'd like to try to do as many as possible. And then we'll ask for little prizes and stuff. We got a lot of them coming in this year. We actually remembered to buy them. We have a photo booth, but we need parents to also chaperone. So another list will come out. It's not a requirement to chaperone, but we have to have help to make the dance go. We have a cakewalk that has to be manned. The gyms have to be manned. We have a police officer and 3 admin here as well. So I mean, it's not like we're by ourselves, but you have to have a lot of help when you got almost 1,200 kids in this area. All right. So then we're going to have a quick turnaround. At least we have 2 weeks this time. Normally there's about 3 days before Veterans Day hits. And Veterans Day, if you've never been at our school on Veterans Day, we have a huge event for the entire county, and word has gotten out to even more, where more people have been invited to come out, where we serve a huge breakfast for them. So it's required to bring a breakfast item of some sort. We're only going to ask for so many, so not every single person will have to bring it because otherwise we have overload. We've always had way too much food. The kids enjoy it because after they're done and there's food left over, we come in and eat, which they really do enjoy. But I don't want to have so much that it's overabundant because then in April, We do Teacher Appreciation Week, and that's another food item. And those are the only times you actually have to bring anything. Halloween, Veterans Day, Teacher Appreciation Week. And there's sign-ups, so you sign up for what you want to bring. You're never told what you have to bring, ever. Okay. I need to talk in a different voice, and you're talking like a funny, goofy voice, so it's like ridiculous. I hate my voice. On speaker. All right, last thing. Macy's, right after Thanksgiving, we do this huge push to write letters to Santa. So anybody that came from elementary, if you know that letter to Santa, that for Macy's, you saw that at your school, that comes from here. Our student council does a huge drive for the Make-A-Wish Foundation, and we turn in letters on Double Day, which means for everyone we turn in, they donate $2 to the Make-A-Wish Foundation. And last year, we wrote 15,000 letters by the time we were done, which meant there was a $30,000 donation turned in on behalf of our letters. And when we turned them in, it was a newspaper event. They came out from the corporate store. These people came to take pictures with the kids. It was like a really big deal. So that's the last thing that we do besides Links of Love. Bell ringer, I told you, Make-A-Wish, Teacher Appreciation. And then, I know I'm forgetting something. Do you have questions so far? I feel like I'm rushing, but then I also feel like I'm talking way too much. So the dance, I'll need help. Canopies, sign up. I'm about to send you like 4 signups. Miracle League has a game. There's several games on this next coming weekend. Miracle League of Ellis County, there are 2 different ones. The Ellis County is closer, but they asked for a specific amount. I'll send that out. Just constantly be looking out. And then I keep getting asked, well, if it's full, and with over 330 kids, the signups are going to fill up really quickly. Just shoot me an email and say I want to be on the cancellation list, because we always have people cancel towards the end. And I'll be more than happy, and I write you back, say, hey, a spot's open, you want to go in? And they're like, yeah or nay, and then we go from there. It's super simple. The biggest thing I can tell you to make your life 110 million times easier is get on Remind and either follow us on Facebook or follow us on Instagram. Whatever I email out, I put on Facebook and I put on Instagram. Every single email goes on Facebook and Instagram. So if you don't check your emails a lot, Facebook is a wonderful thing. And you don't have to like me on Facebook. You don't have to friend me. It's just a page. It's FSMS Barnes Student Council Bunch, also in the handbook. And then if y'all will please, please, please check the email list to make sure that next to your student's name, your email is correct, because I promise you a lot of them are just entered in incorrectly for some reason on our part, and I apologize for that, but I want to get it fixed so you can actually get the 10 million emails I'm going to be sending you. I really did have a parent say, hey, can you just go ahead and take me off the parent list, and I'll just ask my kid. And I said, okay, sorry. You know, you feel bad, but it's like we do a lot. We do so much. So I want to make sure that I get all that information out to you. And here's the other thing. I get a lot of emails saying, I'm sorry I'm bothering you. You're never bothering me, ever. Like, my phone is an extension of my hand, and my emails come through like text messages. My text messages come through immediately, and my husband gives me fits, that's the word I'll use today, about being on my phone a lot. But I am a big believer that instant communication solves a lot of issues. So if you have a question, just text me. When I text you back with maybe a shorter answer, it may just be because I'm trying to rush and make sure I at least acknowledge you to know that here's the information. It's never because I'm irritated or anything, because some people are like, I'm so sorry I bothered you. I'm like, you really aren't. I'm just rushing out. Or a lot of times I'm like, well, did your kid bring that home? And it's not because I'm like, God, check with your kid. It's just I'm making sure your child got what they needed, because if not, I need to get it to them. And a lot of people kind of take that the wrong way, so I want to make sure I clarify that up front too. All right, I'm done yammering. Any questions? I'm going to tell you like I tell my students. If you have a question, chances are 2 or 3 other people have the same question, so go ahead and ask it. Crickets. All right, thank you for coming. Oh, yay! Oh, yeah. What? The shirts will be here in about a week and a half, 2 weeks. I'm going to order them this evening. I was waiting for the final memberships to get in Friday, and it's a blue shirt. It says, leadership is action. It says, it's a very cool quote. And then it has our thing, lead, serve, inspire. And then it has our 2 awards on the side and then our logo on the back. And it's bluish. It's not the normal dark blue, but it is blue. The kids seem to like it, so. Yes. Yes, some examples of service. So Miracle League is a buddy. Maddie's dance is a special needs dance that we have that Donna calls out to us about, where you go in and you just help kind of set up with their dances. Manna House calls us from time to time asking for help. I'm trying to think of all. Pause for reflection. They'll have events that they ask for people. At Easter, there's a huge event that we help them out with, especially like with Easter eggs. Craft Hope, I think is what one of our parents has. It's an organization, but it's called something else, a not-for-profit where she does stuff for cancer patients and their families, and we're going to help her out. What are some things y'all do? The school carnivals, like you can do anything for the schools, the Special Olympics. You can sign up to help them. We had another parent who said that they do like a pancake thing that they're going to be doing, reaching out to the communities that I'm going to be sending those out to. Baxter will ask us for help for dances. PTOs ask us for help. Hidden Miracles, another one. You're going to notice a lot of things are special needs because with children with special needs, I have my own too, that I really like to get our kids around them and kind of experience that humble feeling of being around them and seeing how awesome they are. Hidden Miracles is at Cowboy Church on the first Saturday of every month. They have a respite night and they love volunteers. And you just come out and play with kids for 3 hours. Anyone else in the room that remembers what they do for service? Oh, go ahead. Oh, yes, the Fall Festival. We're going to be in the Fall Festival again, but I don't think we're going to do the flash mob again this year because people remember us from last year. Last year we did a really cool flash mob. Like, it was awesome. It took a lot of practice, which we don't have time to do this time, but we will be at the Fall Festival again, and we will be asking for volunteers at that time, so keep your eye out for that sign up because there will be that. And Joy is now considered an outside of school club, but let me explain how Joy started. Joy is a huge junior optimist youth group here in Midlothian. We started it last year, the Student Council Board did. It is the largest one in the nation. It's first year out, our club here in little old Midlothian. And we're going to start membership again in October. It's $5 to join. It's another way to serve our community. And we have a whole bunch of different volunteer spots for them as well that we send out that are separate than Student Council. But we have kids from all over the entire district, elementary. They start at 6 to 19 that can join and they can volunteer and serve. And they earn scholarships. Like last year, we have what's called the One Dance, and they raised $6,800. So we took that money and divided it by every Joy member, and they got a scholarship. So I got a 6-year-old with a scholarship in Joy that's going to, by the time they're a senior, will have interest and have accrued. So I think that's a pretty cool deal. So something else they can join and get a part of. That's what we were handing out today at homecoming, those little cards. But we'll be sending more information home on that. Now Student Council doesn't run it. The kids from the school run it. It's a school-run organization. I founded it, that's it. They run it, but they run it outside of school now. That's just the only little difference.